Couple big games this week, Coach. How do you guys respond after last week?
Well, we just have to get back in the gym this afternoon and get to work. We'll study the film. Obviously, some corrections that we need to make at both ends of the floor. And I need 3 really good days of practice before we take the road and head over to SEMO on Wednesday evening.
Wayne Langston, he has been getting a lot of fouls lately.
Yeah.
Foul out of quite a few games lately, and I know you need to bring in guys off the bench to alleviate that, but what are some other ways that you can keep him in the game?
First, I'd say we got to get you a Murray State sweatshirt instead of that Illinois one. But secondly, we've got to make some adjustments there. Obviously, I'm going to go back and watch the officials tape from the beginning of the year, and I guess we haven't taught it well because I thought the new rule was on a catch you can armbar, use your armbar to brace. You can't extend the arm and force your guy, the offensive player, off balance. But that's been called a foul lately, so I need to adjust that and figure out a better way for him to defend in the post because we can't afford him to get these ticky-tack fouls and end up on the bench. He doesn't help us over there.
Can you talk a little bit about your team's response with him out of the game? I feel like
Sure.
You guys had the lead at halftime. He wasn't in the game.
Yeah, well, Charles played very well off the bench, was very good at the defensive end of the floor, and was solid on the glass. The biggest adjustment for us, it really puts us in a bind from an offensive standpoint. It puts us in a position where we rely too much on the perimeter, and we need him on the floor so that we're a more balanced attack offensively, and that's why he just can't be in that position where he's sitting over there with us. But to Charles' credit, he came in, played 16 straight minutes. Defense on Taylor was very good and also helped us on the glass.
What has Charles done? You always talk about the best players in practice are
Sure.
the ones that are going to play. What has he done in practice to prove that
Yep.
he can earn those minutes better than some of the other guys?
Well, it starts with his energy and effort. I think he's tremendous in both of those categories on the practice floor. And then secondly, the thing that stands out about him, he picks up on what you're trying to do from a strategy standpoint, and he does those things on the floor. I think perfect possession there in the first half. Taylor set a ball screen. Charles jumped out there. He hedged the ball screen. He sprinted down, recovered into the post, and got a steal on the post feed. Just little things like that when you add them all up, those are big things. And so I think he's earned that time. And then when he's gotten the minutes on the floor in games, he's been productive.
You talked about when he's been on the floor. He hadn't really played a lot early in the year. He's just really been recently. But he seems like he has that poise already. He doesn't look like that deer in the headlights, look like a freshman.
Right.
He doesn't know what to do. He seems pretty confident when he's out on the floor, not really making mistakes. He didn't have a turnover against Martin.
Well, I think that's what we try and stress with these guys is the importance of practice. And the things he's doing on the game floor, the same things he's doing in practice. And that's a credit to him. I think he had a big offensive rebound putback the other day. He's just making winning plays. And again, it's no shot at Charles. He just doesn't bring the post-up game that an all-league post in Wayne Langston has right now. He's a freshman. He's still developing. But from a defensive rebounding standpoint and understanding what we're trying to do as a team, he's been fantastic.
For health reasons, Antonius Cleveland's back for SEMO, and then, of course, Chris Horton for also he's been playing really well. Are there any other guys that you are circling this week against SEMO, against Austin Peay in 2 games that are very critical?
Sure, they're plenty. With SEMO, they have balance now with Cleveland back, and they won a couple big games last week. They're playing with a lot of energy and confidence right now. Kellum inside in the post is a very good inside scorer. And, again, we just talked about Wayne and the foul trouble. That presents another problem there. Isaiah Jones, he played for him last year, really shoots it well from 3. And then they also have Angus, who's a double-figure scorer. So they put 4 double-figure scorers out there on the floor. And then with P, not only Horton, but then Robinson in the backcourt. And they have other guys as well. But Robinson's gone for 39 in a league game. He's gone for 32. He hit 7 threes on Saturday. He can really get it going, scoring the ball on the perimeter.
Coach, you guys have been playing very closely with teams in the conference. What is something that you guys really need to focus on to get over that hump and get some wins down the stretch?
Well, it's just the consistency that we have to play with, and I can point to a million different things. I mean, Saturday, for example, in the first half, we gave up 17 points in the half in our half-court defense. 17, and that was it. But on 4 possessions of transition defense, we didn't do our job, and we gave up 10 points on 4 possessions where we either gambled in the backcourt and put ourselves in a disadvantage. Both of Anderson's threes in the first half, including the one at the buzzer, were a result of our poor transition defense, and then we gave up 2 transition layups. We can't make those type of mistakes. We limit Martin to 1 offensive rebound in the first half. Then in the second half, they get 5. And they were all at critical points of the game. And one of them was on a free throw where we just had a mental lapse and didn't box out. One of our posts didn't box out one of their guards. And so we give up a second opportunity there. So the margin of error is just so small. We've proven we're not going to win games by 30 points. We're going to be involved in a lot of possession-by-possession games. And so the urgency and the purpose you have to play with in those possession-by-possession games, you just can't afford to take a play off or have a mental lapse here and there because it's just, we can't afford to make those type of mistakes.
You've got 5 guys with a positive assist-to-turnover ratio. I'm not sure I've seen that on a team before. Is that a product of something you do in your offense, or is it just that these guys are doing a really good job?
Well, it's a big point of emphasis for us because our shooting percentages throughout the year, they are improving now, but they haven't been where they need to be. So I think when you don't shoot the ball exceptionally well, you can't afford to be a poor ball control team. So I think our guys have done a nice job taking care of the basketball and valuing every possession because, again, our margin of error there at the offensive end is not great. But, again, Will, I look at last week, our 2 games, and 26 turnovers in the 2 games. That's only 13 a game. You're probably thinking not bad, but it's just we've got to be a single-digit per game turnover team, in my opinion. And, you look at Saturday, some of the turnover, it's a 3-point game. Our ball late, and we throw a poor pass into the post and, fail to get a chance to score there. We had 2 possessions late in the game, or late in the second half, I should say, where we made good dribble penetration moves, got in the lane, had dump-offs for easy layups, and instead of coming to a jump stop, we charged over the defender. And that takes 4 points off the board right there. So, I'm pleased overall that in the league games we're plus 30 assists to turnover, but I still think we have room for improvement there.
As far as health is concerned, we know G took a pretty tough foul there late in the
Man.
second half.
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about, is he okay? Is the team doing okay right
Yeah, G's fine. Spoke with him yesterday morning just to make sure because he did take a very unfortunate play there. But he's a tough kid, and he's fine, ready to go. Chad, big 3 days of practice for him. Now that we're have a break in between games, can finally get him some reps and get him back going full speed after about 10, 11 days off without any contact. And then, everybody else is in good shape.
With Jones, right now he's at 34 minutes a game. That's one of the tops in the league.
Yeah.
Are you hoping to get more out of Chad where you can back that off a little bit, maybe having pressure at the end?
We need to, Neil. We need to get Bryce some more rest time. He's a much better shooter than what his numbers are showing right now. I think that's a product of the fatigue, and there being too much on his plate right now at both ends of the floor. So we need to strategically get him more rest throughout the game because I'm a big believer in Bryce. I think he's an outstanding talent, a very good point guard, and I think he's a lot better shooter than what his numbers are showing right now.
UT Martin in Southeast Missouri played to an overtime game about a week or so ago. I don't know if you've seen that game or anything, but is there anything that you could take out of that game to help with your?
No, I don't think so. I think from that game, the biggest thing you saw was just the energy and the confidence that SEMO played. Obviously, Coach Ray, they struggled early in the year. I mean, there's no other way around it. But right now, they're playing extremely hard. I think that was a big game for them because it gave them a lot of confidence moving forward. For Martin, I'm sure they would probably, kind of a fluke game. I mean, they scored 15 points in the first half and then fought their tails off to get it to overtime, and just SEMO got the best of them there in the extra 5 minutes. But I don't think there's really much to take from it from our standpoint.
Do you guys feel like you're right there, having lost only 4 conference games by a total of 20 points?
I mean, I think all our games have been, right there for the most part, Ed. Other than the, Eastern and SIUE games at home, where we won fairly convincingly on our home court in those two. Jacksonville State, I guess, would be the same way at home. But all the other games, it's kind of who we are, I guess, for better or worse right now. We're a possession-by-possession team. We've been in a lot of games that are close, that are decided in the last 5 minutes. You look at Wednesday's game, we're down 4 with 2.5 minutes to go, and we finish the game 11-3 and win the game. You look at Saturday's game, we had 3 wide-open threes down by 3 that we didn't knock down. So we had our chances there too. We just didn't make the plays. And I say that not to take anything away from Martin. They deserve to win. They made the plays to get the job done.